Good morning. Good morning. Whoever's here, good morning. Whoever would be here, good morning. I am Dorothy Burton, and this is this is This Week in Texas, how I see it. And this is the inaugural morning show. I guess you call it a show. I don't know. Um, but I did my analytics. Me and my coach did my analytics, and y'all know who have been with me for a while that I started this a while ago. And we have tried different times, different days. And, it takes a while. I had to learn in this genre to learn what works and what doesn't work. So this is going to be it Thursday mornings at 10 o'clock, and we're going to talk about this week in Texas. Because y'all, there's so much going on in Texas, and I think that part of the reason why people and I'm going to be saying good morning to my peeps. This is going to be a conversation. Hey, Susie, I'm so glad to see you. Hey, Renee, I love y'all so much. Y'all are going to love this because we're going to talk about Huffines. And we're going to talk about the comptroller's office that a lot of people don't really deal with. A lot of people don't really know what's going on. I hope y'all have y'all coffee. I'm like Texas Paul. I got my coffee. It says I love Texas. So I hope you have your coffee. I hope you have your tea. And we're going to get into it because while everybody's distracted on James Tallarico, and we need to be concerned about James Tallarico, we need to be concerned about the senatorial race. But I would submit to you that the most important race in Texas right now is the comptroller's race. And a lot of people don't understand and don't know what the comptroller's office does. And that's what I want to talk about today. We're going to talk about two things. I'm going to briefly mention the unusual step that the Republicans are taking to have their a midterm convention of all places in Dallas. It's going to be at the American Airlines Center. And I have a little clip to show you on that. And then I'm going to also mention the Zorro Ranch, the Epstein Ranch, because it's connected to Huffines. And Huffines is our new comptroller, thanks to Greg Abbott. Now, the Zorro Ranch, the Epstein Ranch, doesn't have anything to do with Huffines' role as comptroller, but it's interesting that he would buy this Epstein Ranch and immediately go to work on it. I'm going to show you a clip on it because I want to build this story for you. Immediately go to work on it so they can't really do the excavations and things that they need to do. And that's still a bone of contention with New Mexico's government. Huffines' son happens to work in the Trump administration. And as I lay this story out for you for this week in Texas, and I hope to what I will do is go in depth every week on at least one story, and this one is going to be it. Because the Huffines story, being appointed by Abbott to comptroller, and just how important that is, and I'm going to let you hear in his own words so that you'll better understand. And I would hope that by doing these weekly, what's happening in Texas this week, that it would prompt people to understand just how important this election is this year. And it's just not Tallarico, the Senate race. The Senate race is important. But this race, this comptroller's race that nobody's paying any attention to, is as important as the Senate race. Now, let's start with, I'm going to introduce you to who Huffines is. Don Huffines is, if you don't know him, he was a former senator, a one-term senator. He's very wealthy. The Huffines name is very well known throughout Texas, certainly North Texas. And he was a senator for one term. He lost. Then he challenged Greg Abbott. He and Greg Abbott. And see, this is what makes this story interesting, y'all. Because when two bitter rivals partner up, you got to understand that what is it? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. After Huffines lost his one term as senator, he ran against Governor Abbott. And it was a ugly race because that's who Huffines is, and that's who Abbott is. So it was a very ugly race. Huffines accused Greg Abbott of all kinds of things because this was during COVID. So he accused Abbott of being all but woke because Abbott did shut down the government for a minute. Huffines is a hardcore Tea Party person. Those of you who remember the Tea Party, that is when Huffines came in view. He's very hardcore. He refused to, during his term as senator, he got a lot of press for refusing to fire a white racist nationalist that was on his staff. Not only did he not fire the guy, he defended the guy. Don Huffines himself is a white racist nationalist. That's who he is. That's who he is. He and Greg Abbott are cut from the same cloth, just like Dan Patrick and Ken Paxton. And I'm telling y'all, if Texans don't vote, we are in serious, serious trouble because they not only have gerrymandered the districts, and thankfully, since Paxton is such a weak candidate, and Tallarico has such strength in the Panhandle, along the Rio Grande, along South Texas, West Texas. He's growing in North Texas. He's doing a lot of work in North Texas. I don't know any other way to put it. And I think that's why my heart is so heavy today and so heavy for Texas. And if you follow me on Substack, my essays are explaining Texas. And when I was doing my Thursday nights and we were doing different shows, Renee and Susie, we would do different topics of different things going on in America, how it impacted Texas. And we would always come back to Texas. Always come back to Texas. So in my prayer time, in seeking the Lord about my work, it's like he told me, it's like I have you where you are where you need to be in Texas. I mean, and when I looked at my background and he had to show me really me, and that's a prayer that, and okay, that's another thing on Thursday morning, y'all. We're going to be more relaxed. We're going to be more real. I'm going to be more real with you. My faith is really what drives me. Okay. So when I looked at all of my background, and I want you to know too, that all of our successes, all of our failures, all of our mess ups, all of our good times, bad times, everything prepares us for the purpose that God has already intended for us. And sometimes that comes early in life, sometimes it comes later. For me, it's come later. But going to Dallas Theological Seminary, not really feeling comfortable the whole time I was there because I didn't know why I was there because I was always in politics. And then serving 4 years as city council person, a fifth generation Texan growing up as a conservative Black, evangelical, Republican, all of my life. All of those things. And my Black Democrat friends were few. Very few. I count them on one hand, like two. But that was who I was. That's what I believed. I mean, I was attracted to the Republican Party early on. And from the time I was 18 years old, from 1978 to 2018, even voting for Donald Trump the first term, that's who I was. Little did I know that being so immersed in the Republican Party and evangelical religion and going and Dallas Theological Seminary, one of the most well-regarded evangelical seminaries in the world, conservative, being 30-something odd years sitting under Dr. Tony Evans at Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship, I didn't know it was preparing me for this. And it also grew my skin really, really tough. And you would have to have it to do what I know God has given me to do. And this is what he's given me to do, is to speak the truth, to tell the truth, because I know the truth and I study besides that. So that's who I am. That's what this is going to be all about. When I come, it's not about politics. It's not, it's about truth. Because y'all, we are dealing with some dastardly people in this state. We are dealing with some people in this state who have no scruples, who have no bottom, who have no love, who have no empathy, who have nothing. And you're going to see this with Don Huffines in a minute. So this Thursday morning show is dedicated to the people of Texas, dedicated first to God because I represent him. So I'm not going to come out here and tell y'all, I love the commentators across the country. I listen to a lot of them. Texas Paul, I love. Texas Paul is on the money when it comes to stuff in Texas and politics and what's going on, even in Texas and across the country. If you're not subscribed to Texas Paul, I suggest that you subscribe to him. So there are a number of people in the political space, but the lane that I'm in is very few. Not that I'm so great, I'm not. This is just what just God would have me to do. So we're gonna talk about Texas, and we're gonna talk about candidates, and we're gonna talk about politicians, and everything we say is gonna be researched and it's gonna be true. So that's what we're gonna start today. Now, the two things we're gonna talk about is this midterm convention that the Republicans are having because they are scared to death. That's why they're having this convention. And see, they scheduled this convention. Now, this was all Donald Trump's idea. Now, keep in mind, this was not the Texas Republican Party's idea. This was Donald Trump's idea. Yeah, probably Greg Abbott in there too. But this was on Donald Trump because Donald Trump sees the numbers. And Donald Trump knows that not only is he in the tank, but he also knows that James Tallarico is depending on what poll you look at, he's either ahead by a point or he's neck and neck with Paxton. And in Texas, that's unheard of. And I'm going to tell y'all another thing. And people who've been listening to me know, and people who read my Substack know too. Don't believe the lie that Texas is a blood red state. Texas is not a blood red state. I want you to get that in your mind. I want you to get that lie out of your head. Texas is not a red state. Texas is an unorganized blue state. I'm going to say it. Texas is not a blood red state. Democrats, there are more registered Democrats in Texas than there are registered Republicans, according to L2 data. The average age of Texas is 36 years old. The largest majority of population, ethnic population, is Hispanic. Now, Hispanics typically, and I'm gonna tell you this, Hispanics, because most of them are Catholic, they are conservative. And the Republicans have been able to depend on the Hispanic vote over the years. However, two factors that's working against them, and they know it. One is ICE. Two is Tallarico. I'm talking about in Texas. Because what Donald Trump did and what the Republicans did, even Greg Abbott did, was in essence turn their back to Hispanic voters in Texas. They didn't need them anymore. They were already in. So they could do this immigration stuff. They could do this ICE stuff. They didn't care because they had used the Hispanics for what they needed to use the Hispanics for. Period. I'm just saying what God loved. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Oh, but here comes midterm elections. And Hispanics are waking up. And that helped them wake up. And what else helped them wake up in Texas was two things. Two young men, Bobby Polito and James Tallarico. I'm telling you, and those of you who watch me, y'all know back in December, when James Tallarico went down to the valley and he and Bobby Polito cross-endorsed one another, I said then, it's over for white conservatives as far as the Hispanic vote goes. Yeah. Bobby Polito did win and Bobby Polito is going to be in Congress, and prayerfully, Tallarico is going to be in the Senate. Yeah. And I say that as like I say, I ain't never been a Democrat in my life. I will never be a Democrat. It's so much with the Democrat Party I just can't get with. I can't even begin to can't begin to tell you. My husband's a Democrat. I love him. He could never understand me, and I could never understand him. But that's okay. So I say that to say I ain't no liberal sitting here. Not by a long shot. I ain't never been a liberal, never will be. But I am a watchwoman on the wall, and I do know politics, and I do know religion, and I do know Texas. So what I'm telling you, you can take it to the bank. You can take it to the bank. So Texas is not a red state. It's an organized state. And now that the largest population in Texas, ethnic population in Texas, the Hispanic population, is turning against the Republicans, they are scared witless. They are. And see, that's why they had to do all this gerrymandering. That's why they had to do all that. That's why they do all that. There's another form of gerrymandering, however, that doesn't get talked about. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. Because, see, the last gasp that the Republicans have is this last, it's not called gerrymandering, but in essence, that's what it is. And that's why Don Huffines is key to this whole thing. And that's why the enemy of my enemy is my friend when it comes to Governor Abbott. That's why he appointed Huffines as comptroller, even though he is the Republican nominee for comptroller. Abbott appointed him to the position over and to give him the power, not only to give him the power of the incumbency. Now, people will say that on the surface, yeah, that's true. That ain't the reason. That ain't the reason. And Sarah Eckhart, bless her heart, Sarah Eckhart is a Democrat candidate for comptroller. She has a mountain to climb. Yes, she does. And when we get into this comptroller, and y'all begin to understand why what Greg Abbott did was so egregious and so strategic. Appointing his enemy. Now he and Huffines ain't, look, he and Huffines ain't friends at all. Huffines, when Huffines ran for comptroller, Greg Abbott didn't support him. Because remember, he and Greg Abbott were enemies because he ran against Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott endorsed Kelly Hancock. Not only did Huffines beat Kelly Hancock, he beat Kelly Hancock to a pulp. And the thing is, Abbott pumped millions of dollars. Now, y'all got to get this because I want you to understand it. Abbott pumped millions of dollars into Kelly Hancock's race for the comptroller primary, the Republican primary. It was a 4-person race. Huffines, who is filthy rich, didn't need anybody's money. Huffines is a white, Christian, unabashed, nationalist, racist, very wealthy. And the voters of Texas responded to his message over a well-financed Kelly Hancock. Now, keep in mind, Huffines and Abbott ain't friends. So, when Kelly Hancock lost, and see, you got to understand Republican politics a little bit to understand the significance of Kelly Hancock's loss in the primary. Abbott was with Ken Hancock, and I'm going somewhere with this. I'm building this story so y'all will get it, and people who look at this way down the road, prayerfully before the election, will get it too. Kelly Hancock supported by millions of dollars, and the weight of the governor's office, he had that support. On the other side, remember before, but on the other side with Huffines had Ted Cruz. He had, who else he had? Who else? He had Ted Cruz, he had somebody else. But anyway, it was a fight. Huffines won against Abbott. Boy, Kelly Hancock. So it was a shock to many people that Kelly Hancock would resign because he was running for the office because the guy before him had stepped down to be the chancellor of Texas A&M system, I believe. But he stepped down, effective in August. So when he stepped down, Abbott appoints Huffines, his mortal enemy, who ran against him for governor, who he did not support in the primary. And I go, huh? You got to go, huh? Things that make you go, huh? Why would he do that? I'm going to tell you. And it's got something to do with you. And it's got something to do with me. And if you work for a city, a county, if you get any kind of benefit in Texas, I don't care if it's Medicare, Medicaid, I don't care if it's SNAP. If you're going to public school, public university, it's going to impact you. Because the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and Huffines and Abbott are both snakes. They are snakes. They are snakes who hate with a passion public education. They hate with a passion, just like Trump, just like MAGA. They hate government. These are the people that are in charge of our government. And now, with Huffines appointed to the comptroller's office, the comptroller controls the purse strings. Y'all, you hear what I said? The comptroller controls the purse strings. The comptroller tells the legislature how much money they can spend. I'm gonna connect the dots for you in a minute. Let's look at let me share this with you. This is from a Texas Tribune, and this is when Huffines won. Now I want you to pay attention to what he said. I'm so thankful to the strong conservative majority across the state that has given this campaign a terrific victory tonight, Huffines said in a statement. This decisive win demonstrates that Texas voters, and hear this decisive win demonstrates that Texas voters resonate with our consistent campaign message to Doge. Hello, somebody. Elon Musk, Doge. What Elon Musk did to the federal government, Huffines now as appointed comptroller by Abbott is going to Doge, Texas. Doge, Texas government. Deliver a truly independent oversight of all spending and government contracting, and bring a private sector mentality to Texas government. Now, y'all know what that means. And let me show you this. Who's running for comptroller? Is Huffines running for comptroller, or is Donald Trump running for comptroller? That is the same mentality, bringing Trump-style leadership to Texas. Let me show you this one. This is a congratulatory post. My friend Don Huffines is going to make a great Texas comptroller. We often hear the need for local government. I want y'all to hear me. I want you to hear this right here. We often hear the need for local governments to trim the fat, but we rarely hear about the need to trim lots of real fat from Texas government. I want you to hear this. Don Huffines is ready to Doge, Texas. Yeah. Huffines is on a mission. What Donald Trump appointed Elon Musk to do to the federal government, Greg Abbott has appointed Don Huffines to do the same thing to Texas government. I hope you just heard what I said. I hope you just heard what I said. I hope you just heard what I said. Let's look at a couple of, I want you to hear from his own mouth. And then we're going to come back, and talk about what Doge in Texas looks like for Huffines and for Abbott and for Patrick and for the Republicans in Texas. Texas is already at the bottom. If y'all look at my Substack, I have a Substack, What Happened to Texas. I want you to go look it up. It's on Substack. My essay on what happens to Texas, and I lay out about 22, 23 points where we are ranked the lowest in several areas. And if Huffines and Abbott have their way, Huffines is going to be overseeing $1 billion in public education dollars. And if they have their way, like I said, what Elon Musk did to the federal government, what Elon Musk and Trump did to the federal government, Huffines and Abbott are getting ready to do to Texas. Let's look at a couple of and then the very last thing I'm going to talk about is a convention. But the most important thing is this. Let's start with this. Let's start with this.
In here, you've told me multiple times you want to audit government and find waste here. How much, though, do you realistically think you're going to find? What kind of dollar figure do you think we're actually looking at here in state government?
Oh, Jason, I can tell you that I think it's a lot more than most people realize. I mean, we've seen what happened in Minnesota and California and other states when the government really starts paying attention to where our money's going. I mean, as you know, I when I was in the Texas Senate, I started auditing and closed down Dallas County schools. It was a medium, small state agency, had an elected board. They were spending over $100 million a year, and 6 people went to prison. And what they were spending in 9 hours, what they spent annually, the state of Texas spends in 9 hours. We're spending way over $500 million a day, 7 days a week. There was a lot of fraud and waste in that money, unfortunately, because we just haven't paid enough attention to it. And I'm a business guy, and I'm going to bring those eyes and ears of the private sector to the government sector.
But if you had to take a shot at this and throw a number out there, any thoughts on what might be fat in the state budget?
Absolutely. We have over 200 state agencies, and I can tell you that there's going to be a lot of fat in a lot of them. So you got to look where the money's really going, and that would be education and health and human services. That's where it's about 70% of the money the state spends. Some of it's federal money, some of it's state money. But the state of Texas really deserves a comptroller. And that's why I'm so excited about being in this position if the voters choose me, because I'm a taxpayer champion, Jason, and I'm not looking for a new job or a title. I'm not looking for a salary or a pension plan. I'm looking to represent the taxpayer, the customer, to bring that private sector mindset to the government sector. I've created a lot of businesses in my career, and I've signed the back and front of a lot of paychecks. And I'm telling you that I know bureaucracy. I've dealt with audits, and I've dealt with the state agents, with the comptroller's office, and we're going to change the culture in Austin. The customer is right, and the customer is the taxpayer, and that's what I'm focused on.
You've promised to Doge Texas and cut waste, but which state agencies would you recommend to lawmakers that might need another look and possibly closing or consolidating?
Well, I appreciate that question. It's a great question. And like I just said, it's where we're spending the most money. I think education, it needs to be looked at. It's just where the scale is so huge. Look, if I can save 5% of the education dollars, that's $5 billion annually, we can say, because we spend about $100 billion in education. It's the number one thing.
Are we talking, sorry to interrupt there, are we talking about high schools and elementary schools?
Government school system.
Everything.
Yes. We need to look at it all. And because we spend so much money there, it could be food stamps at the SNAP program. It could be looking where are we Medicaid, Medicare fraud. But there's a lot of areas, and one thing that's a smaller agency, but it's really not that small, that I'm really want to focus on, tech stock, for instance. We all know that like 635 around Dallas, LBJ Freeway was supposed to be a 3-year program, 4-year max. It was a design build program. 9 years into this highway construction around Dallas, as an example, it still isn't finished. I mean, I don't know how I've built hundreds of miles of roads in my career, and I'm telling you, I would never sign the contracts they sign. So let's just dig into these agencies and find out best practices, bring the private sector mindset to and turn and really turn them around and focus on what's best for the taxpayer. This is
And
our money. It belongs to us. It doesn't belong to the government.
if you open the books of TxDOT, what do you think you might find?
Well, I think I'm going to find a lot of inefficiencies. I'll tell you that, and we're going to focus on that. Why do they sign contracts where people don't work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day? I mean, why does it take so long to build the road? Are they no bid contracts? And we're just going to really dig into it and do what's best. I think TxDOT is a good example because they really underestimate the stress the traffic puts on the urban areas when we have traffic, rural areas too. But they underestimate the what happens, the effect on the driver. And the time delay is one thing, but it's also just the quality of life that we all need, a better quality of life.
Okay, if you heard Don Huffines there, he told you what he's going to do. He told you what he's going to doge. If you heard him, he told you. And he is now the comptroller overseeing the purse strings of Texas. And the reason why Governor Abbott appointed him in, I cannot tell you how unusual this just isn't done, because he is a candidate for the office that the governor has appointed him to oversee. So he gets to run as comptroller as an incumbent against Sarah Eckhart. And the power of incumbency is huge. Now, this is July. The election isn't until November. If he were to win in November, he would not be sworn in. The new comptroller wouldn't be sworn in until January. So conceivably, from July to January, this man, this Elon Musk light, this man who is insistent upon doging Texas, has the purse strings to our government. Abbott gave it to him. And the reason why Abbott gave it to him is Abbott hates public education. He hates it. He hates public education, which, if you've read any of my stuff, is unusual, because let me tell you about Greg Abbott. Gregory Wayne Abbott. I live in Duncanville, right? Gregory Wayne Abbott graduated from Duncanville High School. Gregory Wayne Abbott's mother was a school teacher. Gregory Wayne Abbott's daddy had a heart attack when Gregory Wayne Abbott was 16 years old. And but for the fact that his mother had a job as a school teacher, he would have been on the street. And people in the community who also rallied around his mother, her co-workers, her fellow school teachers, her fellow Duncanville ISD people rallied around him and her to make sure that Gregory Wayne Abbott would be taken care of, he and his mother, and that he would graduate 2 years later from Duncanville High School, because he was a sophomore, he was 16. So to see how Gregory Wayne Abbott now hates, and he has made an object of his hatred, public education and these vouchers, is something to see. He forgot where he came from. He forgot. Not only has he forgotten, but he doesn't care. So what does that have to do with Huffines and him? See, Huffines gets to control where the money goes. He's the comptroller. He writes the checks for the state. You heard the man say, and I don't know if you paid any attention to him or not, but I made a list. And if you work for a city, if you work for a county, if you work for a school district, you better hear what this man is saying, because you're going to be doged, okay? He is going to doge state agencies. If you work for a state agency, remember when Trump came in and he fired all those federal workers, right? Well, he fired them based upon Elon Musk's Doge report. So I want you to get this picture on the state level. Whereas on the federal level, it was Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Here in Texas, it's Greg Abbott and Don Huffines. Same thing. And they're going to do the same thing that Trump and Elon Musk did. You heard the man say it out of his own mouth. As a matter of fact, let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Because I wanted to read it to y'all. Because, see, people are asleep on this. Just like people were asleep on Elon Musk. These people aren't playing with us, y'all. They are not playing. And we're not going to be playing with them. Let me read to you what, because I found a quote. This is what Don Huffines said. In his victory statement, Huffines thanked the strong conservative majority across the state that has given this campaign a terrific victory, blah, 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 blah. He thanked his opponent, Hancock, blah, blah, blah. And this is what he said. He said, this decisive win demonstrates that Texas voters resonate with our consistent campaign message to Doge Texas government. I'm going to keep coming back to that because this is like people who missed Project 2025 when we kept telling people about Project 2025 and people going, oh, they ain't going to do that. Oh, they ain't going to do that. Huh? Okay. What I'm telling you is this. Don Huffines he keeps telling you in his ads, he keeps telling you in his quotes, he keeps telling you in his interviews what his intention is. He's going to Doge Texas. And he said to Doge Texas government, deliver a truly independent oversight. Now, whenever somebody like that say oversight, y'all know he fixing to cut. Oversight of all spending and government contracting and bring where have you heard this before? And bring a private sector mentality to Texas government. Huffines said he would prioritize. I want you to hear what I'm saying because this is just what Trump and Elon Musk and Project 2025, the design they had for the federal government is the same that Huffines and Abbott has for Texas. Huffines said he would prioritize eliminating woke, in quotes, woke ideology, including ending transgender, quote, indoctrination in schools, stopping taxpayer funding for illegal immigrants, auditing state spending to expose waste and return savings to taxpayers through property tax relief. Now, Elon Musk said Trump said they were going to issue Doge checks. Y'all got your check yet? You got your Doge check yet? Huffines is saying he going to do it by eliminating property tax relief. Okay. He also listed fixing traffic, managing the Texas education freedom accounts. See, they want these, y'all, they want to so eliminate public schools that it is unreal. It is a obsession with them. I think I put on Facebook last week that Houston schools had to close, I think, 12 campuses. The most that they've had to close in 20 years. These people are not playing. He wants the Texas Education Freedom Accounts program and prioritizing Texas business among his top issues. He's endorsed by Senator Ted Cruz, Charlie Kirk, the late Charlie Kirk, and it goes on and on and on. But this is who Huffines is, and this is the plan with Abbott. See, he needed a Huffines to carry out his dastardly plan, and his dastardly plan is to Doge public schools. And also, I made the list for you in case you weren't listening. He's going to Doge, and if this applies to you, your job is on the line with this man appointed now as comptroller, who's running for the office of comptroller, but he gets to sit his ass in the office from July until January and to do the damage that he and Greg Abbott have cooked up for him to do to us. State agencies, education. And you heard him say, because he asked him, he said, are you just talking about public education? He said, no, I'm talking about education, period. He's talking about universities. So if you work for a university that gets state funds, he's coming after you too. If you are a school teacher, if you are a school district, oh yeah, they for sure coming after you. Yeah. Health and Human Services, universities, public schools, SNAP, Look, Medicaid, and I want y'all old people to hear me too. I'm in this. Medicaid and Medicare. Yeah, he's dodging that. Text dot. And those of you who work for cities and counties, y'all think this 3-day furlough that the city of Dallas has had to do, that ain't nothing. That's going to apply to every city in the state, especially those cities in blue counties that they hate. I hope you hear what I'm saying. Because a lot of you didn't listen to us when we told you about Project 225. I know this sound crazy. I know this sound this you know, and it really does not make sense if you are really, you know, but to them it does. I ain't through. I am not through. Cities, counties. So think of how much of your budget, how much of your grant money, if you're an elected official, or if you're a city manager, or if you're a director, if you look all the way down to the man and woman who unlock the doors in the morning time. Cities, counties, text dot. You heard the man go on and on about text dot. Why do you suppose he went on and on about text dot? See, this it's almost like trying to explain like Project 2025. Texas Tech. With this appointment, I'm trying to tell y'all, going down the list, and you heard what the man said out of his own mouth. These are the things that he's going after. And now this crazy man, who Abbott has appointed as his bulldog, is going to doge all of this list of things that he listed out. I didn't. That he's going to be looking at. And the number one thing on his list is that $1 billion funding for public schools. Yeah. Now, if you remember, and you may not remember, if you were a Democrat and not into Republican politics, you wouldn't remember this. But when he was a state senator, I'm talking about Huffines, they had a group of kids from Richardson ISD. And this was back when he was pushing vouchers back then. A student just asked him a simple question. It's like, okay, so what about the kids that can't afford to go to these private schools? Then what happens to them? Don Huffines went off on that kid. You can't find the video now because they took it down. Don Huffines acted such a fool with that kid that he had to write a letter of apology to that kid. And having the connections that he has, he had the video taken down because he was so ignorant and ugly with that kid from Richardson ISD. You can see it referenced if you Google it. You can see it referenced in newspaper. You can see it referenced in stories. But try to find the reel. Try to find the video. Huffines had it taken down because that's who Don Huffines. That's who Huffines is. That's who Don Huffines is. He is a white Christian nationalist, rich, and he'll tell you, I don't need the money. I'm not doing. Did you hear the man say? I'm not doing this for a salary. I'm not doing this for. He don't need the money. Elon Musk didn't need the money. It ain't about money. It's about inflicting pain on the people of Texas, and it's about doing away. Look, they want total control from Austin of everything in Texas. Everything. Let me hear from you. Let me see. Susie said they want the permanent school funds. Yeah, he said that. Yeah, they salivate for it. The Texas Constitution protects. You know the Constitution don't mean nothing to these people. Don't mean a thing. He said that. Yeah, he said that right here. He also listed fixing traffic, managing the Texas Education Freedom Accounts program. That's what he wants. And that's what Abbott has given this man free reign over. The dismantling of public schools is going to come faster than it would have had Abbott not interfered and appointed this man to comptroller. The comptroller's office, as I said before, tells the legislature what it can spend, because it's the comptroller's office that writes the checks. It's the comptroller's office that oversees the purse strings. It's the comptroller's office that acts as the chief financial officer of the state of Texas. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So that's why Abbott appointed Don Huffines. Yeah, that's why. And like I said, the power of the incumbency, it is as if he is duly elected already as the comptroller. He has all the power of the comptroller's office. He has it all. And the power of the incumbency is huge. This man right there showed y'all is right now running the state of Texas, the budget, the $338 billion budget, and that $1 billion for public schools vouchers program. That's him. That's him. Yeah, that's why Abbott did that. Abbott is cruel. Abbott is cruel. He's calculating, and Greg Abbott is an evil man. Evil man. Evil man. And Texas is ground zero. So I said it before. It's like gerrymandering in a way. I'm talking about Huffines and what he's about to do to Texas and Doge. Because he's fixing to cut up, just like he said on Texas Politics interview, just like he said on interviews to Texas newspapers. He's telling us what he's going to do. And he's telling us who he's going after. So those checks that the comptroller writes to state agencies, to education, health and human services, public schools, universities, SNAP, Medicare, Medicaid, TxDOT, all that, cities and counties, particularly cities and counties. Let me go. I know where I was going with that. Yeah, take a minute. I know where I was going with that gerrymander thing. You know, the legislature gets to gerrymander districts, right? Well, with the comptroller's office, I'm gonna use that kind of like an example. It's kind of the same thing, because he gets to slice and dice cities and counties and local governments. You're and with the purse strings, just like Doge did, y'all, just like Elon Musk did, y'all. And y'all do know Elon Musk is a resident of Texas, right? Yeah, he is. He got his own little town out there. Which brings me to the convention, the midterm convention. Why Texas? Why not Michigan? Why not, Florida? Why not? Because Texas is ground zero. If they lose Texas, they lose. If they lose Texas, they lose America. And don't think that Tallarico doesn't scare them to death. And see, that's why what gets to me. And if you read my Substack, if you don't subscribe to my Substack, that's why I do my best work, because I'm really a writer. I'm really a writer. And I think but yeah, that's why Tallarico scares them to death. And see, I'm gonna detour a little bit to Tallarico, and then I'm gonna come right back to Huffines in this midterm convention, because they're tied together. They are going to do everything they can, including paying people to pose as Democrats, paying people to pose as commentators, paying people to pose as influencers, Democrat influencers. They are paying these people to do that. So you have to be very careful when you hear things, particularly against Tallarico. These people are getting paid. Tallarico scares them to death, because Tallarico can win Texas. They know Tallarico can win Texas. So all eyes are on Texas. And when Trump, now see, I'm gonna show you how God worked. When they did that 4th of July thing and Trump, oh man, y'all do know Trump stole the 250 celebration from the American people, right? It was America 250. He stole it, make it Freedom 250, and made it all about him. And y'all see what God did? He brought the rain, he brought the thunder, he brought everything, the heat. And with this convention, see, Trump jumped out there. Let me tell you, the Texas Republicans weren't planning on no midterm convention at all. They had just finished up their state convention, just like the Democrats had finished up their state. Trump said this. This came from Donald Trump. This did not come from the state Republican Party. This came from Donald Trump. We're going to have a midterm convention, and we're going to have it in Texas. Because he's scared shitless, because he knows that he is at the bottom when it comes to ratings, and he is looking at the numbers in Texas, and while Paxton is off gallivanting in Europe with his Christian influencer mistress on the 4th of July. How patriotic is that? That's another story for another day. But the Republicans weren't counting on having no midterm convention. This came from Trump because Trump is scared. He's scared. And so when he announced this a couple weeks ago, that agreement with Iran was still in effect, right? This fool, he tore up the agreement. Now we at full-scale war with Iran, and we are at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to our reserves. And oil, if y'all think gas has been high, you ain't seen nothing yet. It's fixing to skyrocket. So since Trump announced that the Republicans are going to have this midterm convention in Texas, the whole world has changed. Because now we are at full-scale war with Iran. Full-scale war. And this crazy man is talking about bringing the whole of the United States military to wage a full-scale military war against Iran. And you got these Texas Republicans scrambling to put together their little midterm convention. Tell you how God work. We're gonna see how this works. But let's look at this for a minute. Let me share this with you. Share it with you.
September, Republicans are planning to do something they've never done before: hold a midterm convention. Both parties traditionally hold these major conventions during a presidential election. Democrats had midterm conventions in the 1970s and 80s, but this is the first time for Republicans. President Trump said the two-day event in Dallas this September will celebrate the great American comeback and focus on things like the economy, jobs, and affordability, and the border. Democrats, who scrapped ideas for their own midterm convention over fundraising concerns, are criticizing the plans, arguing it's tone deaf. So why now? And why could it matter? Well, the midterms are a big deal for Republicans. They're fighting to hold on to their slim majority in Congress. And historically, the party in the White House loses ground in midterm elections. And with Trump not on the ballot, there's also concern about turnout from the base in November. But Republicans also have to battle historically low approval ratings for President Trump and Americans' frustrations with rising inflation and cost of living. The convention in Texas is not only meant to galvanize Republican support, but it will also put an even further spotlight on a competitive Senate race in Texas. Democrat James Tallarico against Republican Ken Paxton. Texas hasn't elected a Democrat statewide since the 90s, but a New York Times Siena poll released Monday found Tallarico and Paxton are right now virtually tied. This September, Republicans are planning.
Yeah. So that's why they're having their midterm. That's why they're having their midterm convention in Dallas. Yeah, that's why they're having their midterm convention in Dallas. And another thing that I want y'all to know. Another thing I want you to know. about Dallas and North Texas and Texas. See, all of this, y'all, is connected. And as I said, every Thursday, I'm going to help you, and I'm going to be doing a couple of videos throughout the week to help you connect the dots and help you to better understand what's going on in this state leading up to November. Another reason why they would have the convention here in Texas, particularly North Texas, because North Texas, according to the Baptist Joint Committee, North Texas is ground zero for Christian nationalism. It's like if Christian nationalism had a headquarters, it would be in Dallas, Texas. It would be in North Texas. And that's another show for another day. But it's all connected. Robert Jeffers, Graham over at Prestonwood. Yeah. And Robert Jeffers, I tell you, he's a proud Christian nationalist pastor. He has said that. So between and while people are focused on Tallarico and Paxton, and we well should be. And prayerfully, I hope that those of us who are working really hard to reveal truth. Now, I'm going to tell you, I ain't finna go out there. Let me say this. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it like I need to say it. Okay, I'm going to say it like I need to say it. Paxton, as a Republican, is so reprehensible to me that there is no choice but James Tallarico. And James Tallarico is a good guy. Okay? But y'all, I keep telling you, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm really, 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 really not. But I am going to do all I can to keep revealing truth to help people make up their own mind. My mind is made up because I know what the facts are and I know what the truth is, not necessarily because that's my politics. There are a number of things that I disagree with James Tallarico on. Ken Paxton, I disagree with everything he's about. Everything. But this election is so important to Texas today and for the Texas of tomorrow that those of us who are not Democrats, who are independents, or who are former Republicans, who, when you look at what we have, and when you look at what they are trying to do, and that's what I'm going to do every Thursday, and with my videos and with my Substack, I'm just going to tell you the truth and help you. Excuse me, and I hope that helps you to make up your own mind. Like with Huffines, appointing him to Comptroller. Not only unusual, but there's a reason behind it. Because he gets to get in and do just what you heard him say he was going to do, which is in line with Greg Abbott. They want to control, and in order to control a state, you have to control two things. You have to control the politics and you have to control the purse strings. You hear me? You have to control the politics and you have to control the purse strings. With the gerrymandering, that's controlling the politics. Controlling the purse strings was a different issue. That's why Greg Abbott appointed this man. Not because they're friends, but they share the same philosophy. That Texas has to be controlled by their version of the oligarchy. You heard the man say, I don't need a paycheck. I'm not doing this for a paycheck. I'm not doing this because I need the pension. And he's not. He's right. But he gets to write this is the man that gets to write the checks for the legislature. So why is that important? See, the legislature controls the politics. The comptroller controls the purse strings. Abbott already have in place the people he needs to have in place in the legislature on the politics side, and they gerrymandered on the politics side to shore up the politics side. But that's only half of it. They need to control the purse strings too. That's why Abbott appointed him. That's why. And if Sarah Eckhart doesn't win, this man, you heard him say, you heard the list, and it is long, and he means it, just like Elon Musk meant it, and people didn't think that that was going to happen. It happened, and I'm telling you, this is going to happen. And they're having this midterm convention to shore up what? The politics. The politics, because that's where they're weakest now at. Even though they did that gerrymandering, the districts that got gerrymandered, if you look at a video that I did, and I'll put the link down in the comments, they thought they were smart because the districts that they gerrymandered aren't as Republican as they thought they were going to be. Why? Because of the strength of James Tallarico in those areas, in Houston and in San Antonio, principally, and down along the Gulf Coast. So at least probably maybe 3, maybe 4 of those gerrymandered 5 seats that they gerrymandered, they ain't that safe anymore because of Tallarico, Bobby Polito, and the strength of the Hispanic vote that they will bring, and how the Hispanics have turned on Trump because Trump turned on them. That's why it's important for African American voters to get in the game and get engaged, because this is a war, and they count on African Americans not getting engaged. Yeah. So remember what I said, in order to do what they have to do, and that's exactly. And if you look at the pattern, that's what happened. This is the pattern. This is how the game is played, y'all. They have to control you. If you're going to be powerful, and if you're going to have your way with the masses, you got to control the politics, and you got to control the pocketbook. And with these people, with Greg Abbott, it didn't matter that Don Huffines, that he couldn't stand Don Huffines. They can agree on one thing. Look, it's just like the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Back in Jesus' day, it was a lot of things they didn't agree on. But the one thing that they agreed on was Jesus needed to go. He needed to be crucified. They came together on that. Yeah. But the Pharisees and Sadducees, they the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And this is what's happened with Huffines and with Abbott. And that's why Abbott made the choice that he did with Huffines, because Huffines is the guy that will do this. He is the Elon Musk that will do this. He is cruel. He is heartless. He's very wealthy, and he doesn't give a damn, period. He just told you that. He doesn't. And he hates government. Remember, Huffines came in the scene on the scene during Tea Party. That's when he came on the scene. He was so crazy, he got booted out after one term as senator. But he has so much money and he's so wealthy that he go, okay, I'll challenge Greg Abbott. And that's what he did. Said some horrible things about Abbott. I started to play some clips, but that's not germane to what I'm talking about. Yeah, they were mortal enemies. That's why Abbott spent all those millions of dollars supporting, what's his name, Lockhart. Yeah. That's why he did that. So y'all, the stars have aligned, and Trump is coming to town because the politics and the pocketbook have aligned. And every day that Don Huffines sits in that office of comptroller is a day that everyday Texans lose. Because don't think he's just sitting there. Like I said, his son works for the Trump administration. See, all of this is tied together, y'all. All of this is tied together. It is. And when you hear Sarah Eckhart talk, when she says these things, she's just not talking as a politician. I think she's been a public servant for like 2 decades. The woman knows what she's talking about. And I say that as a former Republican. She is the Democrat nominee. But when you hear her talk, and when you hear her say these things about Don Huffines and why this appointment now and all of this, if you're not really schooled on it, you would think that she's exaggerating. The woman is not exaggerating. The woman is telling you the truth. Just like I'm sitting here telling you the truth. Yeah. Yeah. And how deep is Huffines in this with Trump? And how does that connect to the Zorro Ranch? See, y'all thought I forgot. I ain't forget. I didn't forget. Let me share this with you. And then I'm gonna tie it together for you. Let me show you this. I'm gonna show you 2 clips. Show you this one first. I want you to pay attention. Like you're in school. Yeah.
Shrouded in mystery, no one really knows all that may have happened at convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch in Stanley, New Mexico. But the release of files about the Epstein case reveals disturbing claims.
So there's a lot of unanswered questions about Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, what went down there, why it was not fully investigated, why people were not held accountable. And frankly, as a New Mexican, to anyone who was hurt there, my heart goes out to you.
A newly released email claims a former ranch staffer has information about 2 women who were killed and buried there.
I'm horrified when I learned something new, especially when I learned that state land could have been involved in some of these monstrous activities.
In 2019, the New Mexico State Land Office canceled its leases with Epstein and offered the state land to law enforcement for an investigation. But Land Commissioner Stephanie Garcia Richards says nothing happened. She's now demanding action, sending this letter asking both the U.S. Department of Justice and the New Mexico Department of Justice to investigate the allegation. In response, the NMDOJ says, quote, "The allegations appear to be unsubstantiated and stem from an anonymous individual referencing events that purportedly occurred more than 6 years ago. To meaningfully evaluate these allegations, we would need access to the complete, unaltered communications and any associated materials. Once such information is obtained, our office will review it to determine whether any further action is warranted."
I mean, I'm a little bit frustrated by it. Here we are 7 years later after the cancellation of the leases, after opening up state land for access to law enforcement for an investigation. To my knowledge, none has taken place. I'm kind of curious to know why. I think, on its face, the allegation itself may not have a lot of credibility, but just when taken in context of the larger body of knowledge that we have of things that did occur out at Zorro Ranch, I think it's worth pursuing.
Okay. So that's what happened at Zorro Ranch. It was Epstein's ranch. Now, not only is it reported that bodies of women were buried at that ranch, but it's been also reported that bodies of young girls were buried at that ranch. And New Mexico did all they could, opening an investigation to get access to the ranch, right? Let me share this with you. How it's connected to Huffines and Donald Trump.
Evil and bring it into goodness, bring it into light and positivity. Tell us about that plan.
Well, of course, that is the main reason I bought the property. This was obviously a dark place, and we wanted to put light in a dark place. It always shines the brightest when you do that. My faith is so strong in Jesus, and it really is. And I'm going to make this, the plan all along is to make this property into a Christian retreat. As a matter of fact, it's under construction today. And that's our goal. That's why we named it San Rafael. We named it Saint Raphael, as you probably know, an archangel, and his what he does and helps people with is healing and being the healer, and also blessing those that are traveling. And we think that's really germane to this.
Take something evil and bring it into goodness. Bring it.
So you heard Huffines. So Huffines bought Zorro Ranch, and this is the last point that I want to make. Huffines bought Zorro Ranch that belonged to Epstein, and you heard what went on. You heard what went on at the Zorro Ranch with Epstein. God only knows what went on there. So now, since he bought the ranch, Don Huffines, who is the appointed comptroller of the state of Texas, who controls the purse strings for the state of Texas, owns this ranch, and construction is underway. Well, since construction is underway, it's private property now, and there will be no further investigation, no searching for the reported bodies of women and young girls that were reported to be buried on this piece of property. Huffines is now turning into a Christian retreat. He's going to turn into a Christian retreat. What Christian group would want to retreat at a Zorro Ranch that belonged to Epstein, where it's reported that bodies of women and young girls were buried there? But see, by Huffines purchasing Zorro Ranch, and now it is private property, that he's going to turn into a Christian retreat. That means that although he has said he would give access, so it's part of the Epstein cover-up. It's part of the Epstein cover-up, and Don Huffines is right in the middle of that too, because he purchased the ranch, and now it is his private property that he's going to turn into a Christian retreat. And who in the world could have a problem with that? Who could question that? But in the meantime, all bets are off. All searches are off. And Epstein wins again in death, because there's no evidence that can be collected now from Zorro Ranch, because Don Huffines, the appointed comptroller of Texas, owns it, and he's going to turn it into a Christian retreat. So, y'all, these are the kinds of in-depth stories this week in Texas is going to be about. And this story with Huffines and being appointed, it's just not an appointment. It is much, much deeper than that. And I hope I have laid it out for you in a way that's clear and to help you connect the dots to what's going on with this appointment. And as I said, I am not a Democrat, but I will be supporting Eckhart for comptroller, because I know what's at stake. I know what's at stake. And y'all know what's at stake too, if you've been paying attention to what happened with the federal government with Doge. The massive layoffs, the programmatic cuts, the cuts to education, all of that will be here in Texas. And I wanted to take my time, and I wanted you to hear it from his own mouth, because that's what he and Greg Abbott are up to. That's what he and Greg Abbott are up to. And that's what this appointment is all about. If he wins, he wins. If he wins, Texas loses. Because, see, remember what I said. The comptroller's office oversees the $338 billion budget for the state legislature. And in Texas, the legislature only meets every other year, every 2 years. And the cuts that this man will do, he presents the budget. I don't know if I made that clear to you or not. But the comptroller presents the budget to the legislature. That's how the legislature knows how much money it has to spend, you see. So if Abbott can get the money cut off at the source, the comptroller's office, when it provides cover for the legislators who say, we just don't have enough money in the budget to do that because it's already been cut, dozed by Huffines, the comptroller. Y'all get it? You get it? You get it? You're connecting the dots. Politics and the purse strings. And that's what they have now with this appointment to the comptroller, and that's why that's important. Don't just let that fly over you. That's why this, and see, they count on people not knowing how government works. Just like I think Susie talked about the Railroad Commission. People have no idea what these offices do and how powerful they are. Remember what I said, y'all. If you control the politics and the purse strings, you can control the state, and you can control the country. And that's what Trump moved to do quickly. That's what Abbott is moving to do quickly by making this appointment of Huffines. Huffines is the man to do it, just like Musk was the man to do it. Yeah. Yeah, and y'all, I will take y'all. Hey, if y'all want to comment this Thursday morning, it's us. I'm telling you, what a hot, holy mess all these politicians and collusion. Oh, God, yeah. We'll cover up, control, and taking Texas to the lowest level in ethical behavior. Yes. Yes. You got it. You got it. You got it. Yes. Susan said Texas teacher retirement system is no longer actuarially sound again. The Texas legislature didn't fund it adequately again. We're not serious about retaining teachers. No, they're not serious about retaining teachers, Susie, because what you need teachers for when you ain't got no school? Look, y'all ain't laughing. It ain't funny. But what you need teachers for when you ain't got no schools? Yeah. Systematically dismantling public schools. And y'all have heard me go step by step how they do that. Go look at some of my old videos, y'all. See, yeah. Yeah. Y'all, I love what I do because I know I've been purposely doing, and I know, and I know these people. I know them. I know these people, and I know how they operate. So this summer, not only y'all do they have this going on, but remember what I told you about the voter rolls. They are still purging the voter rolls. They will purge the voter rolls. The voter rolls get purged 4 times. When Abbott handed over our voter rolls to the DOJ purged them, and they don't even have a reason for purging you. The reasons are nebulous, whatever they think. And especially if you have a name that sounds like an immigrant name, you're going to be gone. Just like Domingo Garcia. Domingo Garcia is a very successful attorney, head of the LULAC. He got purged. Y'all, it's real. So along with this in Texas, they are also purging our voter records. And they get to purge them 4 times. Donald Trump's DOJ gets to purge them twice. Texas gets to purge them twice. They go back and forth until the final voter roll is set, which is in August. So why do you think, again, you got to think how these people think. You got to look at them. The final voter roll by law has to be set by August. I forgot the date, but it has to be set by August. This has been going on, y'all, since December, because that's when Greg Abbott turned over our voter rolls to the DOJ. Now, y'all remember uh, when Trump was sending ICE to these cities and ICE to these states, what he was doing was blackmailing them, because those are the states that wouldn't turn over their voter records, or those are the states that sued DOJ and said, no, we're not turning over our voter records. So Trump went after them with ICE. Trump went after them to occupy their cities and their states. That's what that was about. And when they took these courts, when they took these cases to court, the federal government did not win, not one of them. So the states that took the federal government to task, they won. Our state wasn't one of them. Greg Abbott gave over ours back in December. So in Texas, that's going on too. Because what happens, and I've told you before, and I'm gonna make it really short, the state hands over the voter rolls to the DOJ purges them, the DOJ sends them back to the state purges them, the state sends them back to the DOJ purges them a second time, and then the DOJ gives them to the state for the last time, the state purges them for the last time, and then sets the final voter record in August. And when are they having the convention, the midterm convention? They're having it in September, after they've purged the voter records. See, y'all, all of this stuff is connected. It's connected. And that's why I'm here to help you connect the dots, because these people are doing some dastardly things. And if you don't understand and know how they operate, you'll just read the story and go, oh, why they do that? Or, oh, that's interesting. Or, oh. But it's a oh behind everything these dastardly people do. It is. Everything from the timing of this midterm convention to the timing of Abbott appointing Huffines, i.e. the Elon Musk of Texas. And by the time public schools open, and they're rolling out, Huffines is going to be responsible for rolling out this $1 billion voucher program, y'all. He gets to decide that. He does. And the legislature, which most of them are in the pocket of Greg Abbott, the legislature, Huffines gives the legislature cover. How does he do that, Dorothy? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because remember I said the comptroller controls the budget. The comptroller tells the legislature how much money they have to spend. So he gives the legislature cover, because the state legislators can go back home and say, you know what, I really want to do that program, but the money just not in the budget. I really hear you, and I really wanted to do that program, and I ran on that program, and it was my intention to do that program, but the money is just not in the budget. Well, why is the money not in the budget? Because their hatchet man, Huffines, has cut it, giving them cover. Huffines don't care about cover. The man sat there and told you he got all the money in the world. He ain't worried about no money. He ain't worried about no pension. He's not worried about nothing. He's a very dangerous man. Very dangerous man. Abbott knows it. And that's why he put him in as his hit man. See? You see? They control the politics. They needed to control the purse strings, and now they do. That's the story. That's why that's so important. Disappointments. And now y'all know. And now you know. And if you have, and let me see the permanent school fund. We talk about that. Talk about Doge. Oh, thank you, Susan. Thank you. Yeah, y'all. This helps me keep going, y'all. So if you like this programming, please subscribe. My Substack, I think it's even better. It really is. I think it's better. That thing is growing like crazy. I had no idea, but that's where I really explain what's going on in Texas, and not only explain it, but help you to understand and to reveal, not to reveal any secrets or anything, but to help you think in a different way. And that's what we need to do, y'all. We need to just stop and think, because social media, we scroll, but we don't stop and think and connect the dots and say, well, how is this gonna impact me? And these people are so calculating and so evil that everything they do is for a reason to get to carry out these plans that they have. And I hope I've helped you to understand what this comptroller, what Huffines, and what's the deal with that. So y'all, thank y'all so much for your support. If you like this programming, hit subscribe, and I'd appreciate it so very much. It kind of feels weird for me to ask, but that's what you're supposed to do. Vote French a candidate. Oh my God. For railroad commissioner is a white nationalist? Yes, he is. He's repulsive? Yes, he is. A Republican candidate for railroad commissioner has endorsed a highly qualified candidate, a highly qualified Democrat. Creeps. Susan, they are. They truly are. They truly are. So the more, me too. Where Susie at? Me too, Susie, I got mine. See, morning is kind of different. Morning, y'all see morning flow different. Morning flow different from night. I like this. I think I'm gonna like this, y'all. Let's see. Mr. Don Huffines is a weird dude. Yes, he is. And he's also a dastardly dude. Yeah. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Okay, y'all. Susan, thank you so very much for your support. Susie, thank you for your support. Renee, you know I love you. I thank you. Thank you, Susie. Susan, thank you so very much. I appreciate your support. And if you guys want to be a member of the channel, please hit member. I think it's membership, and hit membership. And my Substack subscribers, every essay that I write, beginning with this past one, and y'all, this past essay that I wrote, just observing what I saw when Opie did the dinner with the black elected officials and the leaders, y'all, it was something to behold. So I wrote about that, and that thing, I don't know, up to 1,000 or something, maybe over 1,000 or something. I don't know what it is on Facebook and on Substack is that. So I say this, I don't say it's to brag. But the second part of what I do to this is Substack. And so I do these essays to help you to think in a different way, to help you think differently about the just the surface of the politics, to give you a more in-depth view of really what's going on behind the scenes, and helping you to connect that. So with my paid subscribers, what I do is I do a reflection for the paid subscribers. Now, it's like $7 a month to subscribe. And that's not even an issue with me. But for the subscribers, everybody gets the same essay. But for those who are my paid subscribers, they get a reflection on every essay that I write. My personal, we go deeper. This is deep. This is what Dorothy thinks. You go a deeper dive with me. And then every Friday, like tomorrow, this is new. And it's going to be every Friday. I call it the Texas Briefing. And my subscribers on Substack are going to get every Friday a Texas Briefing. Yeah. Y'all are going to know. y'all are going to know. And then it's going to be a leadership principle in there to show you where they are missing the boat. So I'm excited about this work. I thank God that it's all come together. It has been a long time coming. But between this and between Substack, I'm fulfilling my purpose, and that is to help people better understand Texas government and how it impacts them and their children, and how it will impact us for generations to come. Yeah, and I thank y'all for being here. This is great. I love this. This Thursday morning. And let's see, Susie said, for those not in Texas, the Railroad Commission is thank you for this, Susie. Is the oversight body for oil, gas, and pipelines, basically energy. Not changing the name. It's basically false advertising. It is what Texas is. Yes. Y'all, we're going to be on top of it. And I think that's what has been missing in these elections, is because people really don't, they get the candidates, and they get the scroll on social media. But the Lord said, his people perish for lack of knowledge. And y'all have heard me say this before. Lack of knowledge is ignorance, and ignorance translates to darkness. So God is saying, and this is my seminary, I'm putting my seminary hat on. So God is saying, when my people perish for lack of knowledge, he's saying my people perish because of ignorance. And ignorance translates to darkness. And we know who the prince of darkness is. So God is saying my people perish because they're in the dark. Well, we're not going to be in the dark here. We're going to shed light on this stuff, and we're going to shed light on it with the truth, and not politics, and not all of that. because I don't have a political home. I told you my background. I mean, I'm not I was a Republican forever. I will never be a Democrat. So I don't have no political home. All I know is that God has equipped me and purposed me to do this, and it's a joy for me to do it. And I love helping people understand Texas and these people. So that's as always, you'll continue to clarify. Oh, thank you, and connect the dots on the issues of Texas politics. Y'all, I hope y'all get this with this comptroller. Y'all may need to go back and look at this, because I'm telling you, if you don't get it, this wasn't just an appointment. Oh my God. And government, I continue to be there. I'm thankful for you too, Celeste. Thank you. Thank y'all so much. I really do. Y'all, we're in this together. See, y'all know things that I don't know. I know things that y'all don't know, but that's why Jesus told us to love one another, because he knew we would need one another. What I have, you don't have, and what you have, I don't have, but together we have it all, right? So thank y'all so much. And Laura, say the same. I'll see you next Thursday at this time, 10 o'clock. And please take a look at my Substack. The subscriptions are free unless you want to do something else, unless you want to go deeper with me. And you get everything. Free subscribers get everything. The $7 subscribers get a month, except that deep dive and that Texas briefing that's going to start coming out every Friday. Yeah, y'all. November is not that far away, and we got a lot of work to do. Thank you. You're so welcome. We got a lot of work to do, y'all. Hey, but we in it together. Susie, you know I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. And now y'all know. Look, now you know when you hear people say, oh, Abbott, appointed Huffines. Now you know the story behind it. Huffines is Doge. Huffines is Elon Musk. And he is after, they got it, y'all. Like I say, y'all remember that. The politics and the purse strings. And Abbott is a master politician. And he made the master move in appointing Huffines. Yeah. Pray for Eckhart that she wins. But the damage that this man will be able to do between now and even if Eckhart wins, she wouldn't take office until January. And these vouchers roll out, y'all, this fall. And that convention is this fall. After the final voter rolls have been set. It's all connected, y'all. And the connection with Epstein, Huffines made sure that got shut down too by buying the ranch. Because like I said, he said he don't need no money. And he doesn't. He's filthy rich. So that got shut down. No investigation. No bodies to be found. It's going to be a Christian retreat. And his son works for Donald Trump. All connected, y'all. But anyway, thank y'all so much. And as the Lord said the same, I'll see you next Thursday. And y'all stay vigilant. See you. Thank you. Bye-bye.